Hey bookworms, welcome back to my channel and to another list video, and happy International Women's Day, which is actually a few days from now, but I upload on Friday, so... For this occasion, I decided to share with you my top 10 favorite, best, kick-ass, greatest female characters in books. I'll have to shorten it for the title though. Now, what a strong female character means for me might be different from your interpretation, so just remember this is only my opinion. I personally really like it when female characters embrace who they are and not necessarily try to be very manly. Not that there's anything wrong with a woman that's more manly, but I do feel that when books portray women as only good or successful or capable when they have more masculine properties, like physical strength or being more aggressive and kind of to the battle kind of a personality, it takes away from the awesomeness of femininity. Now, I do appreciate some rough and tough ladies, and you will see some of those on this list, but it's really cool also to see how it's the feminine traits that save the day. Now, because I know that some people don't like mentioning of how women can sometimes be smarter or more successful than some men, and they think that pointing out some or 10 times where the girl is on top, this means that I believe that all women are always better than men and men are always pigs or something like that. I have to say, no. Relax, guys. Feminism isn't a bad word. It doesn't mean that we believe that all women are always better than all men. It's about telling women to own who they are because they are just as valuable and capable as men. It's about telling women and girls to be true to yourself and to stand for what you believe in, whether you're a girly girl or a kick-ass FBI agent, and choose your own way, not just the things that you think will please your potential partner. And just one last disclaimer before we begin: if you are looking forward to see on this list characters from the series A Song of Ice and Fire, some Jane Austen characters, or maybe Jo March from Little Women, they won't be on this list simply because I haven't read those books. Some honorable mentions go to Gemma from A Great and Terrible Beauty, Lady Jessica from Dune, and pretty much all the women in the 70s timelines of Criminal. Watch my reviews on those books if you want more information. They will all be linked in the description box. At number 10, we have Sarah Blondie from An Instant of the Finger Post by Ian Pierce. This is an underrated character in a very underrated book. It's funny how Sarah is in this center of this multiple narrator book, but she's always in the background. Maybe just to show how poor her stature was. Sarah is a poor peasant woman in the 17th century England, and her father was considered a traitor, which is definitely not a very good start in life. But Sarah doesn't let it stop her. She's a perfect example of a woman who just does whatever she needs to survive. She has both a sharp mind and a sharp tongue, which frankly both aren't really looked kindly upon at those times. And she is fearless, mostly because she went through so much in life. How much worse can it get? Well, read a book if you want the answer to that question. But Sarah shows that even 17th century poor women with a bad reputation can achieve a thing or two. And again, it's funny how she's never the narrator, she's never really in the center of things, but she's always there. At number 9, we have Marion Halcombe from The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. You will notice a theme on this list of women going against the current at times where they should have just been content to be wives and mothers and accept the fact that men are the one who rule the world because they're smarter and better. And Marion is no different. Cursed with not being neither rich nor beautiful, Marion is doomed to be a spinster, but at least she has her beloved sister Laura, who is actually set to be married with a rich man who will make sure both sisters are settled and happy for life. But while Laura is sweet, naive, and frankly quite useless, Marion is also cursed with a man's brains, wit, and tenacity. And she is awesome. She has a business-like mindset. She's not afraid of anything, especially when it comes to protecting her beloved sister Laura. And when she senses a mystery, she is determined to solve it and damn be the rules of propriety. The only sad thing about Marion is the fact that she absolutely hates the fact that she's a woman, because she believes that if she were a man, she would have been able to do all the things that you want to, and I kind of get it. But come on, Marion, look at you. You are a woman, and just look at all the things you achieved. At number 8, we have Serene from Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. Serene is probably one of my favorite aspects of this wonderful book, and she's definitely my favorite character. Smart, a natural leader, calm under pressure. I'd vote for her. She's everything you'd want in a leader. She's not corrupt. Her goal is to better the lives of everyone under her, poor and rich alike. She cares about her people and will always seek the solution with the least bloodshed and discomfort. She's basically the female Jean-Luc Picard, minus the Shakespeare and the tea. And the Enterprise. I like her strategic-oriented mindset and how when there's trouble she takes command and seeks how to solve the situation. Despite that, she's sarcastic and can be also slightly manipulative, but it's always done with the best intentions, if that makes sense. She doesn't act selfishly. She's only being manipulative when she's been lied to and manipulated herself, and she only does that to the people who wronged her, not some innocent good people. In short, vote for Serene and make Arelon great again. At number 7, we have Amy Tomset from The Secrets of Drearcliff Grange School by Kim Newman. As I mentioned before, I really like it when female characters embrace their femininity instead of just trying to be manly. Again, not that there is anything wrong with having masculine traits. And I can't really remember the exact quote, but Amy says something about how heroes can also come in petticoats. Amy is a young girl who tries to make and maintain friends and also stay alive if possible in the midst of a coup d'etat in her school. Now, it's one thing to go against the stream and stand up for your principles when you're an adult, but it's a whole different issue and even harder to do when you're a teenager. And Amy faces bullying, social isolation, and girls with supernatural powers, and yet she remains the lovable, kind, proud nerd that she is, and I really love her for it. At number 6, we have Holly Gibney from The Outsider by Stephen King. You know how sometimes in books you'll have this great woman who is also very smart and naturally talented and very beautiful, and you think, oh, isn't that convenient? It's very easy to have a lot of self-esteem when you already have such a good start. Well, this isn't the case here. Holly isn't beautiful, she doesn't have any self-esteem, and she's mentally ill. And yet she's really cool. She's one of my favorite characters in both The Outsider and her first appearance in the novel Mr. Mercedes. Holly is a great example for someone who is broken, but not only manages to overcome some of her, let's say, natural difficulties, but also turn her disadvantages into advantages. You see, Holly had a rather obsessive personality, which is obviously not something that's easy to deal with, but it also means that she has a really good memory and a great ability to notice the little details, both of which are a great advantage and very useful when you're trying to solve a mystery. Holly might never be normal, but she's a great inspiration for many, me included, on how you can be ill or disabled, but still find your worth and be a contributing member of society, and even better than that, being really good at what you do. At number 5, we have Serafina from Serafina and its sequel Shadowscale by Rachel Hartman. Serafina is a 16-year-old musician in the court of Goret, a magical kingdom where dragons also exist and can take the shape of humans. And Serafina herself is half dragon, but she has to keep it a secret because dragons aren't the most lovable creatures there. And she often finds herself torn between these two worlds that she belongs to, the human world and the dragon world. Serafina may be young, but she's very talented, she befriends the princess, and she also finds herself involved with a murder inquiry, and she tries to lend her expertise whenever she can, while keeping her secrets secret, which is what I like about her. besides her positive traits like being smart and being talented, she also tries to help where she can, which is very impressive because not only she's very young, but she's also not trained in matters of politics. She is powerful in her own way. She's not a chosen one, almighty superhero, which I really like. She's doing what she can. Not to mention that a lot of her antagonists are, in a way, her own demons. So she battles not only with a physical villain, but also her own past, her own ancestry, her own emotions, which is something that I think most of us can relate to. At number 4, we have Jane Eyre from Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, which coincidentally I just reviewed. The setting is England, the time, the 19th century. Women's worth is pretty much determined by how attractive they are and how quickly they can get a husband and start having children. Jane Eyre is a plain-looking orphan, which is already bad enough, but even worse, she loves books, and she hates it when people are blaming her for things that are outside her control. My God! Jane becomes the governess at a rich mansion, and she is just Victorian kick-ass. One of my favorite things about her is the fact that she is smart and she won't let anyone trample over her, despite the fact that she's a mere governess. But at the same time, she's also nice, kind. She's basically a good person. She's also very nurturing, a rather feminine trait, and she's also a great example and inspiration to all young women. You are who you are. Don't apologize for the conditions in which you were born, things you have no control over. Don't let anyone step on you, but also don't go down to their level. Be the bigger person, be kind. Yeah, just a great lady. At number 3, we have Meneley from Dragon's Song and its sequels by Anne McCaffrey. Now, I have to be honest, this is a character that I find a bit difficult to talk about because part of her story hits me really close to home. But Anne McCaffrey wrote really awesome dragon fantasy books starting in the 60s, and they always had really great characters, male too, but she mostly focused on female protagonists. And let's just remember the culture of the time. By the way, Rachel Hartman, who wrote Serafina, which I mentioned before, was greatly inspired by McCaffrey's writing. Meneley is a young girl who wants to pursue her dreams of being an artist, something that she's really talented at, but it seems like sometimes the entire world is against her. Her struggle to survive and, God forbid, be happy combined with her young age is something that many can relate to. She is a clever, nice, talented person who just wants to pursue her dream, and her determination to not let anyone prevent her from doing so without being aggressive, without going down to their level of bullying, is really inspiring. Not to mention that a big part of the story is her accepting help from others and learning that that doesn't make her weak. At number 2, we have a character that I have a feeling a lot of you were wondering if she's going to pop up here, and this is Hermione Granger from the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. Now, if you only watched the movies and you haven't read the book, then you encountered a totally different character to Book Hermione, which is one of the things that bothered me the most in this series of really, really awful movies. So Book Hermione is very smart, very talented, very studious, all good and well. But what makes her such a great character is actually her flaws. She is so book smart, she's such a perfectionist that sometimes she really misses the human element that Harry, but especially Ron, brings to the group. Simply making Hermione best at everything, like the movies did, wouldn't make her such an interesting character. But it's her understanding of her flaws, her character development, and her eventually taking her right place in the group dynamics, not as the best one, not as the pretty sidekick, but as the brains and logic of the trio, and the understanding that you need more than that. This is what makes her such a great and human character. And at number 1 we have Clarice Sterling from The Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris. Clarice Sterling is my favorite example to not just a great protagonist, a great character, a kick-ass woman, but also succeeding as a woman in a man's world, which is, as we know, not a very easy thing to do. Clarice is an FBI trainee, which means she's pretty low on the food chain, and you don't need me to tell you how difficult it is to be a woman in such a masculine profession, and Clarice is looked down upon and hit on by so many men who just see her as this pretty little thing, but this little woman succeeds in solving the mystery solely because of feminine traits. While the other agents are being aggressive and threatening Hannibal Lecter, it's her gentleness and compassion towards him that earns her his respect, and he will only cooperate with her. And other than that, it's her ability to notice the little details, her ability to listen, to be nice, which makes other people want to open up to her. All of those are rather feminine traits, and this is what helps her and her alone eventually to find out the truth about Buffalo Bill. And those were my favorite badass female characters in books, and I'm sure that there are tons out there that I missed, so why won't you share with us in the comment section which female characters you would have put on your list. And guys, thank you so much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to click the like button to show your support, and also subscribe to my channel if you dare, and also click the bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video, whether it's a list like this one, a book review, or just any other book related video. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.